Prepare to experience the strongest radio allowable by law. Secrets will be revealed. Myths dispelled. From the studio gym where excuses never apply, it's Superhuman Radio with your host, Carl Lenore.
This is Science for Humans with Dr. Jeff Galini.
Hey, Dr. Jeff, how you doing?
I'm good, Carl. How about you?
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. So we're going to be talking about zinc today in the continuing discussion of some of the less sexy vitamins and minerals that we've been covering on the Science for Human episodes, but probably more important than the sexy exotic stuff out there, right?
Absolutely, and zinc is kind of my hero mineral. It's such an important a thing, and like you said, most of these, we don't think about. We hear about calcium a lot, just in the commercials. Sometimes we hear about potassium, but when you get to talking about zinc, it's something that's not brought up too often, but very, very important. So to kind of kick it off, zinc is another one of those chemical elements. It has an atomic number of 30. It's a silvery white metal, and it's a constituent that is used in brass and for coating iron and steel to protect against corrosion. So it's, again, another one of these metals that comes from the ground. And essentially, zinc is important because it's required by the body for maintaining your sense of smell, keeping a healthy immune system, building proteins, triggering enzymes, and then here's my superhero, and creating DNA.
Really?
Woo!
And so, if zinc is so important for these different functions, do we get a lot of it in our diet? Is there a lot of it in our diet available?
We do. I think in North America, we eat a pretty balanced diet for the most part. And when you look at the food sources, you don't need a lot of zinc to maintain that balance. I believe the RDA is, I want to say 15 milligrams, which isn't a whole lot considering if you eat some seafood, about 100 grams of oysters, which isn't very much, you get 524% of the DV.
Wow.
So, so most seafood, especially the crab, oyster, lobster, clams, are quite high. And then you and I favored, we loaded up on zinc when you were out here because we had some nice beef.
Yes.
So your red meats, your beef and lamb, really high in zinc. And then most all of your green leafy vegetables. Wheat germ, something I don't eat a lot of, but, wheat germ is high in zinc. Pumpkin seeds, squash seeds, most all nuts. And then this will be a fun one for people because it came up once before, but cocoa or chocolate,
right,
high in zinc. Have a candy bar, get your zinc.
You know what has a lot of zinc in it that was probably popular back in the day when you were training at Muscle Beach, and you probably haven't thought about this very much, but brewer's yeast. Remember guys used to eat brewer's yeast back then?
Yeah, I did kind of forget about that. We did the brewer's yeast and then the big old desiccated liver tabs.
Yeah, and that has a lot of zinc in it too, the desiccated liver tabs, exactly.
Absolutely. Anything from, beef, and then, pork and chicken, all your beans, and then mushrooms, another good benefit from all these mushrooms. So it's pretty easy for most of us to get adequate amounts of zinc into our diet. But like anything, colds, alcohol, strenuous exercise, these are all things that deplete, not drinking enough water, things that can deplete our system of these important minerals. So even though that you may be getting enough food, you could end up with a slight depletion of your zinc levels.
Alcohol seems to be implicated in depletion of most of the important minerals that are electrolytes, it seems like.
Yeah, again, it seems that, and, coffees, anything that has diuretic effects.
Uh-huh.
And I think, again, the problem is moderation. Having a glass of wine or, a beer or something, I don't think is going to hinder that. But it's kind of like a Lay's potato chip, can't just drink just one.
Right. I also find it interesting that, as a rule, we talk about metals as being harmful. Most of the time when we talk about metals from a nutritional aspect, we talk about the dangerous effects of accumulating metals. But we've been talking about metals on this show, on Science for Humans, for some time now. There's a lot of metals that are actually beneficial, and zinc being one of them.
Absolutely. I mean, I think we didn't know, or we forgot that all of these minerals are actually metals. So, they're the same as, arsenic, lead, strontium. There's just that our body you just can't go take a piece of zinc and chew on it and have it absorbed. That would be dangerous for you. So all these metals are reacted with some type of a salt to put it into a form that you actually can absorb. So when you're out there looking at a zinc supplement, you will see a chelated zinc. You might see a zinc sulfate, a zinc gluconate, and essentially you're taking some organic acid, you are reacting it with this zinc, and you are now creating the compound from the supplement side that we normally take in. The same thing with what's naturally occurring. This isn't, just white pieces of silvery metal that are in these foods. They have been converted into forms that we can, our bodies can absorb.
Right. And you know what else is interesting, too, from an evolutionary perspective? These metals, like zinc, for instance, that seem to have pleiotropic effects in the body, they probably are important to us because through our evolution, these actually were building blocks of how our body changed and adapted throughout evolution. So that's why we need them for so many different processes.
Absolutely. And, you look at the earth minerals, where you get 72 different earth minerals, and it contains all the arsenic and strontium, things that normally are dangerous, but, in all these trace elemental amounts, they're really important. And I think a lot of people, when you think of salt, we think of salt being pure salt, but it's not. It's only about 22 or 26% sodium, and if you use, like you and I do, a nice sea salt or something, you get all these other trace minerals which our body needs, which
right.
is probably more important than any one mineral. So nature kind of gave us the whole shotgun theory, which I always talk about, because you never know what you're deficient in, because you could elevate one mineral and then that could cause a deficiency in another. So part of what we're doing is just educating, about this mineral and, where the sources are. If you have some symptoms, it's always best to, try adding this to your diet before running to the doctor,
Does zinc have a partner mineral? We've talked about the relationship between calcium and magnesium in previous Science for Human episodes. Does zinc have a yin and yang relationship with any particular other mineral like that?
Not that I'm aware of. Zinc is pretty much a standalone. Again, that's kind of like my superhero zinc. I'm sure there are other synergistic minerals that may contribute to things, but essentially, all the research that we'll talk about, it is zinc and zinc alone. You don't need anything else to absorb that zinc.
Why don't we do this? Since we're talking about where you can find zinc in the different foods, and we can actually go over that again in the next segment, I want to talk about zinc deficiencies because this is really interesting. The number of potential deficiencies from zinc is startling and looks very much like what we see in society today. We're going to take one quick commercial break. Stay tuned. Oh, sorry. We'll be right back. Do you know how to properly use carbohydrates to ignite your performance in the field and in the gym? You will now, thanks to this free book by EFX Sports. The Carb User's Guide for Maximum Performance reveals why omitting carbohydrates from your diet can totally crush your gains. Ever wonder how many grams you need for your specific sport? Not anymore. We give you the critical number you need to dominate your competition. You'll even discover the super carb that's taking the athletic world by storm. You must try it to believe it. Go to getcarbolin.com/carb guide today and get your copy absolutely free. Once again, it's getkarbolin.com/CARBGUIDE. Hey, this is Carl. Start your day just like I do with a high-dose lipospheric vitamin C from Live On Labs. You too can benefit from Live On Labs' lipospheric delivery system. No more pills or powders. That's outdated technology. Live On Labs has the world's most efficient vitamin delivery system, period. Learn a lot more today at liveonlabs.com and benefit from their new reduced pricing. That's liveonlabs.com, Livon labs.com.
Ever feel like you want something crunchy? From the company that gave us the Quest protein bar, now comes the Quest high protein potato chips with 21 grams of high quality protein and only 5 grams of carbs and no artificial ingredients. Just like Quest bars, you'll feel like you're cheating, but you're not. Go to superhumanradio.com and click the Quest High Protein Potato Chip banner ad today and get ready to be satisfied. Thanks to Quest Nutrition, chips just aren't what they used to be.
Do you want to take tennis lessons? You don't have to wear white or join a country club anymore. Play Your Court sends top-rated instructors to your local court so you can take tennis lessons right in your neighborhood. Visit playyourcourt.com/superhuman to choose an instructor near you and receive $10 off your first lesson or lesson package. If you have questions, call 301-575-6112 and be sure to mention Superhuman Radio to receive your first lesson discount. Playyourcourt.com. Finally, a better way to take tennis lessons.
The secret word is ancestral. Email that in to onair@superhumanradio.com to be entered for this week's secret word contest. And good luck.
Not all so-called deodorants are the same. Only Goodness Inside deodorant is a multi-benefit deodorant that's not only free of aluminum and toxins, but provides the body with nutrients it needs, like magnesium, pure dead sea salts, minerals, and vitamins.
I am a big fan of Only Goodness Inside, the NGDO Healthy Deodorant. I'm a businesswoman. I have to dress up at work. It goes on smooth, it dries quickly, and it never gets on my clothes.
Go to superhumanradio.com and click the Only Goodness Inside banner ad to save 25% off your order today.
In today's day and age, it's refreshing to find a company with values that match yours. And it's even more extraordinary when the products they make exceed your expectation in every way. That's what Michael's Naturopathic Programs has done for over 30 years. With more than 50 tried and truthful high-potency formulas, Michael's Naturopathic Programs give your body what it needs. No more guessing what herb or vitamin, amino acid, or mineral you need. With Michael's, it's all in one bottle. From cardiovascular support to weight management to nervous system support to detox and cleansing and more. Michael's Naturopathic Programs work. They have to. Michael himself has been giving it to his own family from the very start. You can find Michael's product at your local health food store or go to michaelshealth.com and get your tried and truthful formulation. That's michaelshealth.com.
If you take curcumin, you need to pay attention. The best curcumin on earth is metacurcumin. Metacurcumin is up to 277 times more bioavailable and absorbs over 6 times faster than standard curcumin supplements. Metacurcumin even outperforms those supposedly high-performance curcumin products. There's only one metacurcumin by Rev Genetics. You could save 20% off metacurcumin by clicking the banner ad at superhumanradio.com and use superhuman curcumin at checkout. If you want to help stop inflammation in its tracks, you need metacurcumin by Rev Genetics today.
This is the Superhuman Channel, where we use oxygen for the power of good.
Welcome back. Don't forget the secret word contest. You hear the secret word during the commercial break. You email it to onair@superhumanradio.com, and you are entered to win. We're giving away a Hot Logic Mini portable automatic oven that can go anywhere with you, as well as the Real Paleo cookbook from Dr. Lauren Cordain. Great prize that'll be announced next Friday, not this Friday, next Friday on Casual Friday. So don't forget, listen hard for the secret word. We're talking with Dr. Jeff Galini. This is Science for Humans. We're talking about zinc. So What exactly is some of the deficiencies that we see in zinc that are the most predominant, Dr. Jeff?
Yeah, here's one that I didn't know about, is sleep disturbances. There's a lot of things that, kind of hinder sleep, but zinc really contributes to that also. So again, if you're having trouble sleeping, before you run out and try the, sleeping stuff, medicines.
Ambien.
Yeah, or even the over-the-counter stuff.
Right.
Maybe just be some zinc. Maybe you just, haven't been eating enough of good quality foods. Anything to do with the head, the scalp, dry scalp, dandruff, those are all zinc deficiencies. If you get a cut and that wound heals slowly, zinc. Now, here's another one that I didn't know about, was diarrhea. And according to the World Health Organization, diarrhea kills 1.6 million children under 5 every year.
Wow.
I did not know that.
No.
So there's been a lot of publicity lately. Time Magazine, is saying zinc pills appear to halt diarrhea in its track. But and I'm not talking about, eating a bad meal or something and, having a bout of that. Some people have chronic diarrhea where it happens all the time and it will last for days. Try some zinc. About 10 days, 15 to 30 milligrams, and research shows that will take care of that. Different types of skin, paralysis, acne, nails, hangnails, nails not growing properly. Those are all things of zinc. And then you kind of get into, if you have all of a sudden you become very sensitive to things that you might have had some allergic reaction to, that is a zinc deficiency also. Loss of appetite, which most of us athletes know that, if we don't have an appetite, it's usually B12 or zinc, so that's kind of a common one.
Right.
Sex drive. Zinc is supposed to be important.
You know how zinc works this way? This is interesting, right? They remember we were talking about oysters being a high content of zinc food.
Yep.
And guys used to eat oysters and it would make them randy. They'd say, oysters boost the sex drive. Well, zinc is a powerful aromatase inhibitor. Zinc actually halts the biosynthesis of the aromatase enzyme, which converts testosterone to estrogen. So when you eat zinc foods, high zinc foods, or you take a zinc supplement, you see an increase in libido and erectile function.
Absolutely. I mean, zinc, like you said, oysters were always on the top of the aphrodisiac list, but
right.
It wasn't oysters. It's kind of funny how, a lot of times the media doesn't really look into why something happens. Eat oysters,
Right.
It's the zinc, so very important. There's a variety of other things, even premenstrual syndrome, disturbances in a lady's menstrual cycle is a deficiency in zinc. I know a lot of time we only think of zinc as being beneficial to men, but zinc is also beneficial to women also, so it's not just a man product. You see it out there in a lot of the prostate formulas and things,
right.
Important, during pregnancy and postnatal, it helps to keep that postnatal depression down.
Really?
So, important. And then, of course, I think everyone has seen the zinc lozenges. It's supposed to cure the common cold. And, research does show, there was an article written in the European Journal of Immunology that says zinc does activate those T cells. And, those T cells are what help us to control and regulate our immune system.
Right.
That's attacks the infection, cancerous cells, so maybe, it could be beneficial to, inflammation and things of that nature.
If you're not getting enough zinc from your diet, you can supplement. Is there any difference in the types of zinc supplements out there that we should know about, Dr. Jeff?
There are so many forms, and I think the hardest thing for us is why are there so many different forms? That's a good question. And it really comes down to, how does your body going to react to, one type of salt versus another type of salt? I think it's important to, first of all, make sure it's a capsule. And again, like I always say, don't buy it from the big box stores or the Costco's where, you can get a big bottle for, $3.99. Go to your local health food stores who buy higher quality products. Use it in a capsule. Don't use it in a tablet. It takes too long to absorb. And then I like the gluconate. I like the sulfate. I also like the chelated forms. So pretty much any of those forms, should work well for you.
The reason that the gluconate wins for me, hands down, is the zinc is tightly bonded to cadmium. They kind of are buddies in the earth, so to speak. And so a lot of times zinc supplements will have some trace amounts of cadmium in them. And it appears that it could vary as much as 32 times from one supplement to another. The one that seems to always have the lowest cadmium levels consistently is the zinc gluconate. So if you are worried about, if you're going to take zinc regularly, you don't want to start to accumulate cadmium in your bloodstream. It can actually damage your kidneys. So my vote is to go for the zinc gluconate. What do you think of that?
Yep, good call. Like I said, that was one on my list. The other thing I wanted to touch on is there's a lot of hype this time of year. Zinc, cure for the common cold. Again, I'm not a big fan of, taking zinc and putting it into a gummy bear or, a piece of candy. I just think all that stuff helps to slow down the absorption. I like it in a good capsule. But just to kind of touch on that, there has been some good research that shows, taking zinc will shorten the duration of a cold episode. So it is beneficial. It doesn't necessarily cure the cold, although there are some people that swear by it. If they get even a sniffle, they take zinc and tell me that it goes right away. So,
yeah, there is some evidence that it really does work that way. Anything else we need to talk about with zinc, Dr. Jeff?
No, I think, like I said, that's it. It's an important mineral, and I hope that, again, part of us educating about these is that, we can basically help self-diagnose some of our ailments. This is how it's been done for years. And again, I'm not saying don't go to the doctor, but, things like the common cold, having trouble sleeping, loss of appetite, loss of sex drive. You don't need to go and grab some Viagra, try to do it naturally, right? Because all those things have side effects. And, I think what this show is all about is helping us to work with our body, not against it.
Yeah. Perfect. Thanks so much, Dr. Jeff.
You're welcome. Take care, Carl.